event, we'll be able to do it later. Cancel. No, I don't want to do that. All right. What am I trying to do here? Aha, I did that. All right. So the first thing I want to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen. Um, all right. Can everyone see my screen? So the first thing I want you guys to think about as seniors, and at this point, especially for like Angie and Sally. Hi, Yolanda. Is where you're getting accepted to. Some schools, they'll automatically consider you for scholarships as part of your application. Wazoo's like that. But a lot of schools will have you apply separately for scholarships. So I pulled up Central Washington University's website, and they have scholarships. They're open until March 1st. And you log into scholarship applications. You have to use your password. And then, so you're logged in through their dash. They're My Central Washington University, CWU. And once you're in there, you'll be able to see lists of scholarships. And once you're viewing that list of scholarships, you can start applying for them. So that's a really great opportunity for students. Freshmen can apply for that. We had students last year who went to Evergreen from Upward Bound, and brand new freshmen, and they had applied for a bunch of scholarships, and they got free money from those scholarships to go to Evergreen. So I really encourage you guys to take advantage of this. A lot of freshmen don't. A lot of freshmen get so excited they're into school, and they apply for a lot of the other scholarships that are outside of their college, but they don't actually look at the internal scholarships. And you have a really good chance of getting those scholarships, because instead of competing with kids across the entire nation, you're just competing with other people at your school. And it depends on the school and the setup and the year and the scholarship. But I've heard of schools, I had people in the scholarship department at Eastern telling me that they had scholarships designed for African-American students, and they were going to like 6 foot tall, redheaded Russian students because that's who applied for the scholarship. I don't know if you guys remember Lonnie. She was one of our success coaches for a couple of years, truly awesome lady. She got quite a few scholarships that she didn't technically qualify for, she thought. She was missing one thing, like maybe it was a different major, or maybe she lived in a different area or something. But because she applied for it, had a good application, good essay, and they had not enough people applying for it, she won a lot of money. Brian, who's worked with us before, he's gotten quite a bit of scholarships from Evergreen because that's the college she's going to. But just applying for those local scholarships that are specific to your college can give you some really good results. So I'm highly encouraging you guys. And if the scholarship process is one giant application, take your time, fill it out. A lot of people just kind of skip through stuff where they don't want to sit there and write the essay. But you're turning down money, you got to think of applying for scholarships as almost a part-time job. Another resource you have for external scholarships is the Shelton High School page right here. This is Jill's page. It's right underneath Departments, Career Center, and then scholarship information. And Jill keeps this updated. She does a great job about keeping this completely updated. Some of the hints she has on here, the same things that I'll tell you. And this is something, Eli, to think about as a younger person, is making that list of where you could apply for. So my dad was a carpenter in the Carpenters Union when I was in high school. And you're like, okay, well, what's that going to get me? He's just a carpenter. The union gave out scholarships. They didn't do it the year, or I didn't know about it the year I went to college, but my sister and my brother both got scholarships from the union. Lots of trade unions will give out scholarships. Just ask, right? Your parents' work might give them out. My husband works for a grocery wholesaler, and they have scholarships that they give out to their employees and to their employees' children. So just applying for those kind of scholarships where your parents are working, asking them. A lot of banks offer it, so you have to have a banking account there, but check and see, especially if you're at a credit union. Ask your parents where they bank at, and then just do a quick search on there for scholarships on their webpage and see if they have anything offered. A lot of them do. She's actually suggesting insurance companies. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity there. One other thing that Jill suggests that I completely agree with is looking at your hobbies. Do you golf? Like, there's scholarships that they give out from different golf courses for people who are golfers or who caddy. She's mentioning, I guess the NRA gives out scholarships. So if you're big into guns or something, that could be one you could get. Or the Rotary and the Elks Club. So if your parents belong to any community organizations, they'll give out scholarships, and you don't actually have to be a member of those organizations. I know Sally's applying to, I think, the Kiwanis Scholarship, and I bet you other people are as well. So just think about the different scholarships and the different organizations in your area. Here's a list of some scholarships that are open right now. So like the Olympic College scholarships and the South Puget Sound Community College scholarships, those are specific to those colleges. Just like Central Washington and Evergreen and Gonzaga and Northwest and St. Martin's, they all have scholarships that you can apply for directly. I remember I was helping another student last year with their St. Martin's, and they had a $500 scholarship for getting a letter from your religious leader, and a $500 scholarship from getting a letter from somebody who'd already attended St. Martin's. I don't know if the religious leader had to be a Catholic priest because they're a Catholic college or not. I don't honestly remember. But, those were like scholarships they were giving out, many of those. They just wanted to get students who had that kind of reference from people who that college supported those kind of ideas. So they liked alumni, right? And so if they get an alumni, someone who graduated from their school, to refer you, that counted for them. That was important to them. So the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship is coming up. We're going to go over that one. This one's from Alzheimer's and how that's impacted you. So just writing an essay, like there's a lot of scholarships right here, and Jill has the dates. She has the links to them. So I really encourage you guys to take advantage of this hard work that she does. And look, there's even a doodle one for all you artists out there. So consider that, think about that. Another place that I'd like you to look at is our Upward Bound website. We have our website's been updated. It's now upwardbound360.com. And we have an events calendar. And so I am putting the different events on here, but I'm also trying to keep information about scholarship deadlines on here as well. And so we have our scholarship deadline. And then if you click down here at the bottom on events details, it takes you right here to the Washington State Opportunity Scholarship. So this is closing on the 11th. If you guys were able to attend our previous workshops on this scholarship, it's a really great opportunity for students who are going into STEM or the medical. Yeah, some of those scholarships, Riva says, were open to students as young as the 7th grade. So don't think that you can't apply for scholarships at all until you are a senior. That's not true. There's more available when you're a senior, but there are scholarships available for middle school students, and we can find those. So this scholarship, I really strongly encourage everyone who is a senior right now to look at applying for this if they're at all interested in STEM or medical. It's a great opportunity. And when we break after our guest speaker, if you want help, one-on-one help, Riva or myself are happy to assist you with this. The other source I want to show you is the washborg.org. And I'm actually going to throw this up into the chat. This is a clearinghouse. So it lists a bunch of different scholarships. Many of them are local to Washington State. You create a profile, and once you have that profile, it will help you pick out different scholarships that you'll qualify for. And they have literally thousands of scholarships in this clearinghouse. And what I like about this is I think that they are somewhat state affiliated, but they don't sell your information. They're not advertising. There's no profit to be made. These are a complete nonprofit, and your privacy is actually protected. I did want to show you, when we clicked over here, the doodle for Google. So this is another clearinghouse. And it's a very flashy clearinghouse. They're not a nonprofit. I'm not sure how awesome their privacy policies are. They are legit. They are for real. They have real scholarships. Riva says that Washboard does give you regional and national scholarships, which is, yes, they have a lot of ones that are specific to Washington, which is nice because it's less competitive. But you're right, Riva, they do have those big national ones on there too. So I'm not saying don't use this as an option. It's definitely an option, but kind of take it a little bit with a grain of salt if that makes any sense to you guys at all. So for Washboard, you can't just start like looking at scholarships. The first thing you want to do is make a register for it. So I'm seeking scholarships. I hate these. Does anyone else find these hard? So you go through here, you start creating, I can create a demo profile as a counselor or teacher. I can, but you guys would create yours as students. And I can walk you through this whole process, but I'd like to stop now and see if Riva has anything to add or if any of you guys have any questions. And then after the demonstration, I'll be happy to walk anyone who's never made a washboard.org account. I would love to walk you through the process. So Riva, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I've actually spoken to all of the seniors here about the washboard a little bit and about scholarships. I know that you actually have a wealth of knowledge about scholarships, so this is really, really helpful. I would just say it's worth it to apply. Even Eli, there were some scholarships that you qualify for that are open right now that could give you some money that they probably don't expect you to save for college, but they're recognizing your scholarship, your scholastic ability, and it's something to get you in the practice of actually getting scholarships. And sometimes they're as easy as like a doodle, like Elizabeth was showing you. Another one I saw on there that was open to, I think, 7th through 12th graders was a haiku contest where you write 3 haikus. And haikus are 17 syllables long. They're very easy poems to write. They're really short and you can have fun. There are no real rules other than the 17, the structure of it, like the 17 syllables and how you get those syllables in there. But I encourage you guys to apply. If you have like 5 minutes to spare and you can think of a haiku that fits their prompt, then write a haiku out and see if you can get as many as is required by the time the deadline hits, and just send it in and see if they'll give you the money for it. That one was one of the ones on your high school website too, so it's probably not, or at least there's a greater chance that it's not a bigger scholarship and not competitive for more people. Yeah, I think that's all I had to add, is that it's definitely worth it, even if you have to write a 3-page essay for it. If you could write a 3-page essay and get thousands of dollars for it, wouldn't you do that in any normal situation, right? If it wasn't called a scholarship, if it was just called essay for money, you'd probably go for it. So I definitely encourage you guys to put in the little bit of effort, and sometimes you can use the same essay, which we'll probably talk about in our one-on-one sessions. You can use the same essay to apply to multiple scholarships and even colleges. You can sometimes modify the same essay to apply to colleges. One other thing I did want to mention. I have a video that I just put on my computer this morning that was made by Brian Lopez. Elizabeth spoke about this earlier. Brian has gotten over, I think, $38,000 in 2 years in just scholarships alone because he knows kind of the secret for how to get scholarships. I asked him, he made a video for you guys, so we're going to post that up on YouTube either later today or tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that, okay?
Thank you, Reva. Do you guys have any questions? Do you have any questions about your particular university or your particular situation? We got about 6 minutes before our guest speaker should arrive. So Courtney, one of the things that we looked at while you were gone, but I wanted to point out to you was that many universities, Central Washington University included, have a lot of scholarships to give away to students, and not a lot of freshmen apply for those scholarships. And you're only competing against students from your college, so it's not this giant national search that you're competing against. And there can be significant money available. So it would behoove everyone, especially once you kind of figured out what college you want to go to start applying for those scholarships. And you're not compelled. If something changes last minute and you decide that you're not going to go to Central and you're going to go to Eastern instead, you'd lose out on any scholarships you were awarded, but you're no more locked into that than you are anything else that you've already agreed to. If you paid a deposit, that's what's going to lock you in. Not being awarded the scholarship won't. So that's just something to consider. Like, you don't lose anything except for some time. And scholarship people have told me, when we had the Act 6 people here, they've said that their numbers are down due to COVID. Also, college applications are down across the board. So if there's a school you haven't applied to yet and you really want to go there, apply now. No guarantee you'll get in, but your chances this year might be better off than your chances any other year, just because less people are competing. And the same thing for scholarships. Not as many people are applying for them, not as many people are thinking about them or seeing them, due to COVID, due to the fact that we can't be in person. And Jill can't be there having workshop nights and showing everyone all the scholarships. So you guys who show up to these events, you're getting a hookup. And if you actually apply, that's going to really increase it's your only chance, right? What's the guarantee you're not going to get a scholarship? You don't apply for it.
One thing that you need to think about along the lines of what Elizabeth was talking about is especially needs scholarships. You have to realize that students who qualify for Upward Bound are usually first generation to college students. A lot of students in Upward Bound are students of color. There are a lot of women in Upward Bound. And one of the things that you're going to realize is that needs scholarships overall are less competitive because statistically speaking, fewer of people with our backgrounds go to college, and fewer people from our backgrounds who do go to college apply for scholarships because they don't always have guidance to help them figure out what to do. So keep in mind that those need scholarships, especially if they're like based on your gender, based on being on the LGBTQ spectrum, based on your race, based on your ethnicity or nationality, there's all kinds of scholarships out there, and fewer people are applying to them, especially as a result of the pandemic. So the chances of you getting them are much greater this time than ever before. So pay attention to those statistics and take advantage of it while you can.
Exactly. So yeah, do you guys have any questions? Yolanda, do you know where you want to go to college at?
I was thinking Evergreen first, probably.
Awesome. That's great. And do you know what you want to study at Evergreen?
Probably business.
Business? Okay, awesome. I say awesome a lot. So I'll pull up. I'm hopeful that the end of this month, I'm contacting people, but I'm trying to get an admissions and virtual tour of Evergreen. I know everyone except for probably Eli has been to Evergreen numerous times since that's where we have our summer program at and such. But I did want to get a scholarship and admissions talk because Evergreen, like I said, they give out, did I misspell scholarship? Sorry. You would think I'd be able to type and talk at the same time, but apparently my brain says no. Anyways, Evergreen has many scholarships to give out, and not as many people take the time to apply for them. So here's a list. There's a list for students who are already admitted, and you can get an Evergreen, active Evergreen email address. But because you're upward bound, I think we can maybe even get you can use the scholarship, your email address through Upward Bound. I'll have to talk to Reva and we can see maybe, because you guys are supposed to be given email addresses because you're a member of Upward Bound, and so that might let you apply for some of these scholarships a little bit faster. But you can also just apply to Evergreen and get accepted. That might be just as fast. So you put in your information, your A number. I actually have A numbers for all of you guys because that's how we get you your checks. Your A number is your student ID number, and all of you students do have a student ID number through Upward Bound because we need to give you guys money for your stipends. So there's a way we can work through this, but yeah, go through this process. And I think they've tried to make it a more streamlined. So instead of just applying for a bunch of individual scholarships, you kind of fill out one master application that lets you apply for more scholarships a little bit quicker. So yeah. Is there anyone else who has a school that I could show them, or any other thoughts that they might have? Hi, Christy.
Hi.
Okay, well then hopefully our guest speaker will be here in a couple of minutes. It's 1:30 now. I always get nervous, like, is my speaker gonna show up, or is everything gonna, oh, there they are, they're here, they're here. Hello.
You did.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth with the Upward Bound program, and my director, Reva, is here as well. And we have quite a few of our students ranging from freshmen all the way up to seniors from Shelton High School. And yeah, we're happy to have you.
Well, thanks for the invite. I appreciate the chance to speak a little bit.
Well, I'll turn it over to you. Do you need to be able to screen share or anything?
No, I wasn't exactly sure what you wanted, if it was more of a kind of a conversation and a question and answer, or if you just wanted me to speak sort of to the expectations of the scholarship board here for the Reed Scholarship, or if you could give me a little outline of what you're looking for, I'll try to address it as best I can.
I think maybe if you could give us an idea of what your ideal candidate looks like and what you're looking for in applicants. And then I know some of our students may have even started the process of applying. So they might have some specific questions.
Okay.
Go from there. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you bet. All right, well, the Reed Scholarship is named after Mark Reed, who's one of the early family members. The Green Diamond is still a family-owned company, and so we still have a Reed. Douglas Reed is the president, to this day. And so direct tie to Mark Reed and to the community here in Shelton. So it's a legacy for Green Diamond and Simpson. If any of the folks that are listening have been a part of Mason County or Shelton in general, uh, Simpson and Green Diamond have been a part of this place for over 130 years. And Mark Reed wanted to, it was very important to him that the company give back to the community, because we don't exist without the community. And so this scholarship that we offer annually is an opportunity for us to give back to what in my time on this scholarship board has been just a really impressive group of candidates, both, well, in multiple different facets, I guess, scholastics, community involvement, leadership, and initiative. In other words, you know, looking out in front of where you want to be, not just this day, but where you want to be, both with your college career and 5, 10, 15 years down the road. That sort of breadth of outlook about where you want to take your knowledge, your experience, your leadership, and in turn, the money that Green Diamond is investing in you as a scholarship recipient. And so the scholarship board, of which there are 5 of us each year, that take a look at all the applications, and then once we narrow that down, generally to anywhere from 15 to 20 for interviews. Of course, this past year was the first time when we did them all via Zoom, and it appears it'll be that way again this year as well. So it's a 2-step process. The applications, which I assume that you've all had a chance to take a look at. I can try to answer any questions related to those today. And then submit your application. The scholarship board reviews them independently, but then we all discuss as a group, because there's some tough decisions to make. We see lots of great applications, lots of great people with a tremendous amount of discipline and focus and talent, and it's a hard thing. It's an encouraging thing, because you see so many great people with so much focus and intent on their future and the future of their families and the people around them. But they're also, we can't unfortunately give scholarships to everybody that we'd like to either. And so that's part of our job, is to make some hard cuts. And that's where the interview process comes in as well. So that gives us a chance a little bit to engage with each of you at a more personal level, get us a chance to talk with you and see what you're all about. I mean, granted, it's hard to know that in a 15, 20 or 30-minute interview, but at least we get an idea of who you are, where you came from, and where you want to go. So that's it in a nutshell. But if I can answer any more questions as far as the specifics go, I am absolutely happy to do that. And before we do that, there are 2 different scholarships that Green Diamond offers. There's the Reed Scholarship, which is the one I think we're talking specifically about today. But then we also offer what's called an Opportunity Scholarship, and that's more specifically directed towards people that are interested in a career in natural resources or forestry. And so those would be people that are a year or 2 into their college program and have shown an interest in natural resource management, which is what we do here at Green Diamond. And so that's another one. I don't think any of the candidates that are listening in today are necessarily going to be qualified for, unless they've already been to a year of school, but of college, that is. But that's another avenue as well. That's specifically directed to folks that you would call non-traditional candidates in the natural resources field. So I can try to answer questions about that if you'd like as well.
Thank you. It's good for me to know that. I wasn't aware of the Opportunity Scholarship, and while you're right, these students are all in high school still. It's good to know, because if we have students who are going into that field, having them be aware of that so that they can, as they get to be a sophomore or something and are declaring their major, they can start applying for that scholarship. So that's a great opportunity for students.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys have questions right now?
We had one in the chat. One student's curious about who got the scholarship last year.
We actually awarded 9 scholarships last year, and so I believe we are funded for 8 and maybe 9, because we sort of share a pool between. We have our operation here in Shelton, and then Green Diamond also has offices in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and in Northern California out of Arcata. And so between the 3 operations, we divvy up the pool of scholarship money. But in short, we have 8 or 9 scholarships, $3,000 a piece. And it's, I don't know if you've had a chance to read the applications, but it's it's either employees, spouses of employees, or children of direct employees of Green Diamond, or of students that are within the working circle of our ownership here. So Shelton, North Mason, Elma, McCleary, Montesano. And so it was divvied up pretty evenly last year between, and we allow it, or we award it for up to 4 times per student. So
Oh, wow.
that you're awarded this first year, you're absolutely welcome and able to reapply for 3 more years. And even if you don't get selected the next year, for example, you can reapply again. And in fact, I encourage that for a lot of the candidates, because one of the big things to me and to the board in general is resilience and that perseverance in your program. I mean, we all, life, one of the lessons that we all get out of life is it'll knock you down here and there, and your willingness to get back up and keep going is a big thing. And certainly that holds true for your education. And so just because you didn't get selected once, and like you said, it's a tough selection for us. And so just because you didn't get it one year doesn't mean you were not right there at the precipice. And I love to see returning applicants and get a chance to talk to them again and see where they've gone and what they've done, whether they got a scholarship the previous year or not. So that was a long way of saying that we had students from all the different school districts. We had some returning folks that were away at college. And so it was a pretty broad mix of folks that we had awarded scholarships to last year.
That's great. Are there any majors? Because you asked like what area of study do you intend to major in? Do you give preference to students who are interested in land management or forestry?
No, not necessarily. That is more focused towards the opportunity scholarship for sure. But as far as the Reed Scholarship, no, it's just if you show a focus and an interest and a long-term outlook on where you want to take your major, or just that you have, sometimes you're coming out of high school, you don't necessarily know what you want to major in. That's certainly understandable. So we don't discriminate, I guess, based on what your area of focus is, as long as you have an intent on sticking with it and, returning that investment that Green Diamond is making in you at some level. Short, no, the area of study is not critical in this case.
Great. Do we have any other questions?
So I am a senior at Shelton High School, and I looked into the Marguerite Scholarship when Elizabeth mentioned it in the group chat, if you will. Um, and I started filling out the qualification form, and that worked fine. However, when I tried to work on the application PDF itself, it didn't work. Even after like downloading it to my computer to try and edit it that way, it would not work. But the qualification one did.
Okay. I would have to ask, Natalie's the one that deals with the actual uploading of the document. If it's okay to print it and type or write out your application as well and submit it that way if you're having trouble with the PDF. But I will ask Natalie about, you said the application part, or no, the qualification worked all right, but the application was the one you're having troubles with?
That is correct.
Okay.
And hello, my name is Angie. I had the exact same problem, and I noticed when I looked it up, the 2019, you could edit it from like the PDF if you were to open the link, but when you open the link for the 2001 application, it just didn't let you.
Okay, I will mention that to Natalie and see if we can figure out what is happening there.
Sally and Angie, are you guys both using Chromebooks or do you have laptops?
I'm using my Mac.
Chromebook.
Okay. Because I'm able to download the form. And once I download the PDF, I can click on the sign, fill and sign button, and I can fill it in. So I'm not sure what the issue is. I'll work with both of you, and then I can also email Natalie. She's the one that set up this event, correct?
Yep.
So I can share that too. But thank you guys for bringing that up, because if you're having trouble, maybe other Shelton High School students and other students in general are having issues too. So make it a little bit harder.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Everything with COVID just makes it harder because they can't even be in the computer lab, getting help with the teacher like normal.
yes, no, that definitely adds another hurdle to dealing with this. So we'll see if we can get it figured out. Thanks for bringing that up.
And you guys want your applications mailed to you, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's one other thing I would say. It seems really simple and easy, but follow all the instructions and fill out all the questions that it asks and sign it and date it. Those are little things that when it comes to these hard decisions that we've had to make, that has cost a few people that look like great candidates. And when it comes time to make those hard cuts, sometimes that's what it comes down to. So I would just say, once we get it figured out on our end, if you're having troubles with the application form, once you get it, follow all the instructions, sign and date it. That's a simple thing, and make sure you get it in by the application deadline as well. So those are little things, but they do count for sure.
Thank you so much. Do you
Mhm.
guys have any other questions at all? You're so quiet. Well, thank you, Shane. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to our students, and this was really good information. I always look at the scholarship and think how great it is that communities and corporations in Shelton want to give back to the students, and not just in Shelton, but I like it when local companies want to give back to their community. So we're very grateful that you do this.
Yeah, no, I have really enjoyed it, being a member of this board, and just like I said, I am being very honest when I say it's humbling, because there's some really impressive kids out there, and it gives me a lot of hope too, that so many folks are so focused and so disciplined at such a young age. So I'm excited to be a part of it. The downside is that we do have to make some hard decisions in there because of it. But that doesn't, I hope that doesn't shy anybody away from applying, because we love to give out some money and let people do what they can with it. So absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's everything, I'll go talk to Natalie and see if we can get the application form figured out.
And she has my email, so if there's anything you need from us, please don't hesitate to let me know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so how does that feel, you guys, to hear people who actually read scholarships talk to you about what they look for?
Good.
Good. Is it helpful at all?
I guess so. Yeah, sure.
Reva, have you been part of the scholarship reading thing at Evergreen before?
No, but I was a reader for the Palmer Scholars scholarship. And usually they'll give the readers a rubric. I think Evergreen does the same thing. So what they'll do is they'll say, here's what a finalist looks like. Here's what they're going to have in their essay if they qualify for as a finalist. And here's what they're going to look like if they definitely don't. There's some spots in the middle where you can vote whether or not you want to give them a chance, but usually multiple people will read your scholarship. So it won't be just one person who decides whether or not you get it. It'll be multiple people. And so if everybody who reads your scholarship agrees you're a finalist, you're going to move on. If you have one person who upvotes you and one person who doesn't upvote you, then your chances are a little less likely. But usually what counts is if you follow the prompt, if you show that you are going to be able to be successful in some way, and that's not just GPA. We're not looking at transcripts when we're reading your scholarship essays. They don't give us that most of the time, actually. Usually what we'll look at is the essays, and that's what we're making a determination is whether or not based on the essay the student deserves the scholarship. Some scholarships they'll show the other things as well. But a lot of the times we'll see so many of those profiles, we'll see so many of those papers that we're not paying attention to that. We're paying attention to the essay. And you can talk about having good grades all day. That doesn't necessarily convince us that you would use the scholarship money well. We want to see people who are going to go to college and be excited about being there, who are going to stick with it. So resiliency is something that Guy was talking about. And you'd be surprised, you already have a lot of experience. I know a lot of you guys actually already have experience with resiliency. You've gone through something that's been difficult in your life. You've made it through, and you've probably been through things that are more difficult than applying for a scholarship or going to college. And so talk about that stuff in your essay. Talk about, how did you find the strength to make it through these really difficult times? Especially, how did you find the strength to keep going to school? And what are you doing to try to recover from that? That shows resiliency, and they love seeing stuff like that. They especially love seeing something that'll help you stand out. So if they're like, write about a character defining moment in your life. If you write about scoring the big touchdown in the football game or making the cheerleading squad, you would be surprised at how many essays they're going to get that say the exact same thing, because traditional students don't usually have hardships to talk about. They don't usually have character defining moments that are outside of their sheltered little realm. A lot of traditional students are actually pretty sheltered. The wealthier families tend to shelter their kids and get them involved in activities where they don't really encounter as much adversity. And you'll notice that when you go off to college, maybe the richer kids don't know how to do chores, or they panic the minute something bad has to happen. So write something that's going to help you stand out. If you've been through something that not all your friends have been through, it might be a good place to talk about it in your scholarship essay. But be aware that people are going to read your scholarship essay. They might know who you are when they read your scholarship essay. So I would say don't say anything that you don't want people to read about you. And if you do need to say something that's a little bit more discreet, and you want to include it, but you're not sure how to include it, you can always talk to Elizabeth and me, and we can help you find ways to talk about things without being too direct. But I'm going to be honest with you when I read. Everybody here who has had me read their essay before knows that I'm gonna tell you how I'm reading it, and I'm going to tell you what the audience is going to want from it. So if you write in such a way where, well, this little thing happened, and then you move on, your audience is going to be like, what thing? What thing? I want to know. So we'll help you through that. We'll help you write about things if you want to be a little bit more discreet about that. But yeah, we're here to help you, and the essay is the most important part. So think about your experiences. Think about all of the assets that you've gained as a result of your experiences, not even just school, and play that up when you write your scholarship essays.
And the other thing to think about, they just don't want to hear the sad story as well. They want to hear what you've done. Just like Reva was saying, how you've overcome those obstacles. They want to know about the obstacles in your life, but it's not just a woe is me, I can't do anything because of these obstacles. They want to know, look at how hard I got hit and I got up again. Not that you never got hit, that you got hit and you got up. That's the most important thing, because just like Shane was saying, just like Reva was saying, just like anyone you talk to, probably all of you know, you're going to get hit a lot in life. That's just the way it is. And it's the people who get up again that are going to be able to do the most. And also the people that have people who will lift them up when they get hit down. So if you get hit and you can help someone else who gets hit up, that's something else you can write about, you know? If you don't necessarily have that great character defining moment in your life, but you know somebody else in your life and you've helped them through something hard, that's another character defining moment that you can talk about. I mean, I remember going to like a high school reunion and one of the girls there telling me how my sister got her off drugs just by being there, by being a friend, by being positive, by encouraging her and trying to change her life. That's character defining on my sister, not just the friend who was doing drugs. So there's a lot you can write about, even if the answers are only like 100 words, which is this one. Those short answers I think are harder than getting an entire essay. The other bit of advice I'll give you is I've read scholarships for Evergreen, and I've also been on hiring committees. And one of the biggest turnoffs for either one of them, and just like Shane was saying, is people who don't follow directions and people who aren't writing specifically for the prompt. Now, you can definitely reuse things. I recycle, Reva recycles, we all recycle, and that's okay. But you have to recycle it in a way that still makes it specific towards what you're writing. And so if I get a job, cover letter that just says, hey, check out my resume, I'm a great fit, I'm going like, I know nothing about you. When I get the one that like engages me and tells me about the person's story a little bit, I'm going to read that entire page because I want to know about them. And that's going to help me determine if I want to give them an interview. The same thing with scholarships, you've got to write specifically for the prompt, even if you're reusing or retelling a similar story, because it's a similar question, it's got to be specific for the Mark E. Reed Scholarship, if that's helpful to you guys at all.
Yeah, actually, one sure way to eliminate yourself from a scholarship or a job search, actually, is to put the wrong name of the position or the wrong name of the business, the wrong school name. You're applying to college. If you're applying to University of Washington, don't leave Wazoo in your application essay. If you're applying for a job for me, you want to work as a success coach, don't leave McDonald's in the position, just in the position thing, because I'll throw your letter away. And that's really standard. You can't apply for something that you don't indicate that you're applying for. And if you indicate you're applying for something different, then people don't consider your application. So sometimes they might be nice and do that, but they go through so many that it feels like a waste of time at that point. It feels like people weren't actually committed to applying to your scholarship. So just be aware of that. Make sure that if you're applying to a University of Washington, it says University of Washington. Proofread your stuff and make sure if it's Mark Reed Scholarship that it doesn't say WSOS Scholarship, right?
All right. Do you guys have any questions for us before we move into the workshop portion where you guys actually get to work? Okay. I'm going to introduce the one other thing real fast, and then I'll stop recording and we can just kind of do our work. We're double dipping here because we want to do something to kind of like do affirmations to each other and kind of celebrate Valentine's Day in some way. But also I saw these scholarship deadlines were coming up and I'm like, we got to get these done. So we have a Kudo board. Has anyone used one of these before?
No.
No? We've made these for birthday cards for coworkers and stuff. They can be really cool. So it's simple to use. I will put the link in the chat. You just will click add to board. You can upload your own image. You can upload an image from their library. So I had looked for Valentine's Day. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. And then I had picked the cute little picture on there and put it in there. So you can just click on this and then write something. You can write something to all of Upward Bound. You can write something to other participants in Upward Bound. You can write something to Reva if you want to. But I sure would appreciate it if people could throw some stuff up in here and we can throw this on our social media and everything. So it's simple. And if you just take like 2 or 3 minutes or however long you want to, I'm going to invite. So
one of the things we were thinking about doing is sharing the messages on our Instagram at different points until Valentine's Day. So if you write a message to, maybe you write a message to all of Upward Bound, you know, keep your chin up, or maybe you have somebody specific who follows our Upward Bound page, maybe even an alumni that you want to say hi to, or you want to, you know, wish them happy Valentine's Day. They'll be able to see your post through our Instagram and through the Kudo board. It's actually really fun. They have lots of cool things to choose from, and they all kind of come together in kind of a collage, so it looks really nice. Let's keep it appropriate, though. Let's make sure that if there's anything inappropriate, that it's so coded us old people don't understand what it says, so that we can just post it anyway. If you have something that's inappropriate, we will probably remove it from the Kudo board. So make sure if it is inappropriate, we don't understand it at all. Otherwise, let's keep it to where little kids can see it and they won't understand what's going on too.
okay, I'm going to stop the recording now.